Hello again. It's another Agricolor reaction. Today we'll be watching. Sorry, this is my saying for the usual thing. But today we have Eric with us. Yay!
Hey!
Because it's date night.
Date night. Woo-hoo.
And we'll be watching.
We're watching Why Knights Fought Snails and Medieval Art. That's cool. By Vox. I'm very interested in this video.
Yeah. You really
I think
like
snails. I love snails. I love them. They're cute.
Slugs as well.
Might be the shell. I don't know. Maybe eyes. We'll see.
I'm a bit, in the case of snails and slugs, I'm a bit torn because I am a gardener as well.
Genocide.
Yeah. And those snails, I just love to eat my produce and plants, especially the young seedlings.
I think they're cute. You should have a garden just for snails.
Just for snails.
Just a snail garden.
I did plant a lot of plants just for the different bad creatures in the garden. And most of them worked, but the snails just like the stuff that it's actually I want to eat. So it's like, no, you're not getting that. So instead of getting that snake killer granules and stuff, although I have those too, but actually I bought that copper tape and I did for around most of the plants that they are susceptible to snail. They're very tasty for snails, because snails for some reason they don't like any tomatoes. I think they just know the tomato is poisonous for everyone, the plant I mean. So they're not even touching that. They don't even go. I found one, but I think he just fell there by mistake. I don't know. So okay, let's just go. Let's just watch. Why did the knights fought snails in medieval art?
We've all been there. After a long day at work, you sit down and binge read some Arthurian romances. They're called illuminated manuscripts because they're illuminated with illustrations in the borders, colorful drawings, and very special doodles in the margins. But among all those steroidal rabbits and this hooded person laying literal eggs, there's actually a theme. A lot of medieval knights in these manuscripts are fighting snails. Why is this happening? The largest snail alive is 15.5 inches, snout to tail. So why does this knight look like he's in for the fight of his life? Illuminated manuscripts were handwritten. Scribes painstakingly transcribed the same Bibles, devotionals, and stories. They also decorated the margins. By the 1960s, one scholar thought these margins were worth attention. Lillian Randall was particularly intrigued by the snail in Gothic marginal warfare. She developed a theory about why a book like this might include a winged knight fleeing snails, and why it showed up again and again and again. Randall found more than 70 snail-fighting heroes in just 29 manuscripts, most of which were made between 1290 and 1310. Pray for yourself, knight. Pray that the snail will kill you quickly. Sometimes the margins riffed on the text, sometimes they were disconnected, but Randall connected them to historical stereotypes. The biggest was that the Lombards were greedy, mean, and cowardly. The Lombards were a Germanic people that had invaded Italy. They were warriors. But in 772, they were badly beaten by Charlemagne. That permanently stained their reputation. By the late 1200s, when those snail pictures started getting popular, the Lombards had become lenders and pawnbrokers spread throughout Europe. They didn't have full rights, they couldn't even own arms, but they did have power. That combination of power and impotence, Randall argued, made them targets. Snail was the appropriate insult. Snails carried their houses on their backs as they retreated, just as the Lombards had from Charlemagne. They were slimy, like a lot of Europeans probably saw their lenders. Calling Lombards snails was an anti-foreign slur that later grew into a bigger trope. It appeared in what was probably a medieval pattern book, with models that helped other scribes draw. And snails showed up in many different combinations later on. Here's a snail-monkey-rabbit battle royale from the 1400s. Snails were slow, but but they spread. We can't be certain what the knights and snails meant because they meant different things as the image became a cliche. The same way people don't explain their memes today, scribes didn't annotate their games in the margins. Randall's argument fits with the timing and history, but people also speculate that snails represented the slowness of time or the insulation of the ruling class. We can only be certain about one thing. The snails reveal something, along with everything else in the margins. As scribes labored over transcriptions of hallowed works, reproducing every line, they snuck in additions, jokes, and riffs in the margins of the text. The drawings were fantasies, but they were made by artists who sought to parody the indignities and absurdities of their own world. The margins were the only space left, so they turned them into a self-portrait. Except for this guy, he's just gonna get murdered by a snail. So this video just scratches the surface when it comes to weird medieval art and possible interpretations. Michael Camille wrote a whole book about art in the margins, and he highlights one figure. It's the gorillas, and he's supposed to represent bodily appetites. It's very cute and a little disgusting.
Alright, what you think?
Makes sense. You know, people have always portrayed their enemies as something different. So.
No, that was funny too, though.
Yeah.
The box is usually really good. This is kind of old too, from 2017.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So that was kind of interesting, though. I never really knew about that snail thing.
No. Who's that guy from Vox you always watch?
Johnny, but
Johnny
he's on his own.
Yeah.
3 years now. He was doing the borders. I've never really seen anything now, but I have something lined up for watching next. Not for us, but for next few weeks. Yeah, that was cool. Quite eye-opening. I was thinking that just like maybe that was the same guy, but then obviously it wasn't. Doing all the drawings and stuff, but no. Anything else?
No, not interesting. You know, under 5 minutes. It's a good small video.
Yeah, true. Entertaining. Thank you very much for watching. You see me tomorrow and see you next week. Bye!